Welcome to He Changed the World from Forest Baptist Church, a series of talks about Jesus Christ from Mark's Gospel, recorded by me, David Last. Talk number 35, The Back of the Queue, Mark chapter 9, verse 30 through to verse 41. There's a story that's been around for a while of an airline passenger frustrated by long delays due to cancellations. He strides to the front of the queue and demands that, as a first-class passenger, he has to be on the next flight. The desk agent then asks him to take his place in the queue, to which he loudly replies, "Do you have any idea who I am?" Her response is to take the loudspeaker microphone and say to the whole airport, "We have a passenger here who does not know who he is. If anyone can help him find his identity, please would you come to gate number 5. It's fun to hear the story of a proud person being taken down a peg or two, told that they're not going to get the special treatment they know they deserve. But it's not so easy to accept it when someone does it to us, especially if we haven't noticed that we're being proud. Often we can be the man demanding his rights, and any pushback can really wind us up. Jesus, however, in Mark's Gospel, makes a policy out of going to the back of the queue, of not clinging to his rights. Why? It links to his whole purpose in life. Jesus is the eternal Son of God, who existed before this world began. Not as a human, that came at a point in time, but as God, he has always been alive. So his rights, if you can call them that, are infinite. If anybody deserves the front place in the queue of life, he does. Yet, so often as a man, he lived in a way which made him unimportant. When he asked, "Do you know who I am?" it wasn't a question arrogantly shouted out in front of a crowd. He said it quietly to his friends, genuinely to find out what they were thinking. And core to Mark's Gospel is a supreme example of Jesus taking the place at the back of life's queue. His death, his humiliating and agonizing death. And in our verses, he tells his friends to prepare for that this is God's plan for him. But that he's not worried, because after 3 days, he will rise again. Yet why should it work this way? Why should he, the Son of God, die so horribly? The answer is this: our world is dying. We are dying, and no one can stop it. But why did God make a world that would die? He didn't. We killed it. How? By rebelling against God. We turned our backs on him, the one who made us. We abused him, we mistreated him, we vandalised the world he had made by our behaviour. The result was death, coming down onto us like a curse and a punishment. But the Son of God, Jesus, voluntarily came to join us in that death, to save us. He knew that if he died, taking our curse and punishment onto himself, because he didn't deserve to die, then he could remove death's sting. He would rise again, overcome death, and he could then give to us eternal life. And so, Jesus came into the world and did not go to the front of the queue of life. Actually, you could say he did the opposite. He went to the front of the queue of death, and he did it out of love, to save others in that queue. People like you and me. Jesus' disciples found this hard to grasp. In our story, in our verses, they keep arguing about getting to the front of life's queue. That's what matters. Who's going to be the big man in Jesus' team? Who's going to be able to say, "Do you know who I am?" to the crowds? But Jesus takes them down many pegs. He brings a child to him and says, "Who wants to welcome this child into our team?" Of course, none of them. None of them want to do that, because what use is a child to important men like them? Yet Jesus says, welcome him, welcome me. And his friends don't like it. One of them says back, "We can't let anyone in. Just the other day, we sent away a guy who thought he could join the team without asking us." Jesus replies, "Stop pushing in front of other people. If someone wants to work for me, let them. I'm telling you, the person who hands out cups of water for me will get a reward." Jesus tells his disciples, his friends, his team, to stop being so pompous. Do you find Jesus' humility impressive or irritating? Could you take the back of the queue for the sake of others? Oh, maybe you do it for those you love, those you know, those you care for. But what about people who have treated you like dirt? Would you do it for them? Jesus did. We have abused God for such a long time that we don't even notice we do it. Yet Jesus humbled himself to save people like us. If you will trust him with your life, he'll transform it into an eternal one, lived with God. Thanks for watching. Come back for the next video. But before this one ends, listen to the Bible passage being read out and hear the sort of man Jesus is. He changed the world. Trust him, and he can change you.
Mark 9, verses 30 to 41. They left that place and passed through Galilee. Jesus did not want anyone to know where they were, because he was teaching his disciples. He said to them, "The Son of Man is going to be betrayed into the hands of men. They will kill him, and after 3 days he will rise." But they did not understand what he meant and were afraid to ask him about it. They came to Capernaum. When he was in the house, he asked them, "What were you arguing about on the road?" But they kept quiet, because on the way they had argued about who was the greatest. Sitting down, Jesus called the 12 and said, "If anyone wants to be first, he must be the very last and the servant of all." He took a little child and had him stand among them. Taking him in his arms, he said to them, "Whoever welcomes one of these little children in my name welcomes me. And whoever welcomes me does not welcome me, but the one who sent me." "Teacher," said John, "we saw a man driving out demons in your name, and we told him to stop because he was not one of us." "Do not stop him," Jesus said. No one who does a miracle in my name can, in the next moment, say anything bad about me. For whoever is not against us is for us. I tell you the truth. Anyone who gives you a cup of water in my name because you belong to Christ will certainly not lose his reward."